Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey, private practice heroes. Thanks for tuning in to the Marketing Your Private Practice with Kathy C podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Colaiacovo, and today's episode is all about making sure your message hits home with your audience by getting to the heart of the main problem your ideal clients have. And you want to do this in a way that is so crystal clear to them, they know instantly you are the exact person to help them. And you can do all of this without going into details on your services and packages. This lesson is especially important if you've ever found yourself having to explain in more detail to people you just met and introduced yourself to because they didn't understand your elevator pitch or your intro. You know what I mean? Those times when people either start asking you a bunch of questions trying to figure out what you do, or maybe the look on their face said everything about how confused they were, and you knew deep down they didn't get it at all. Like most people in this situation, you probably tried to fix that confusion by talking more and more and going into more detail to the point that you come across as rambling and you're not getting anywhere because the other person is typically still confused. Or maybe they've even tried to escape and move on and talk with other people at that event. So if this has ever happened to you, you need to understand it is not you. It is the words you're saying. It is your marketing message. And it's a common messaging problem, one many practice and business owners experience a lot. I've experienced it myself as well. It's very easy to try and be perfect in delivering that elevator pitch, or even perfect in the marketing content on your website or in your social media content in your videos. But if it is confusion that you're getting and not clarity when you're sharing your message, that is never going to get you any more clients. But the confusion can be avoided if you get more specific about your clients' problems, and even better, by using specific examples of those problems. That specificity moves people from those looks of confusion to instant connection. And that is what we all want happening with our marketing. Marketing messages that see more people booking clients are the ones that are going to help you pave the way to having more paying clients sign up with you as well. And the best way to get all of that working is to know your ideal clients inside and out on many levels and really understand how they talk about their problems, how they describe the problems, how they describe their feelings about all the issues they're having. When you get specific about how you talk about their problems back in your marketing with the words that you're writing or the words that you're saying to people, they will feel that you know them inside and out. And when that feeling happens, they're going to trust and feel that you are the person to help them. And you will find folks either booking more consults with you or having other people refer you to someone that they know because they know the situation you described is the one their friend had, and they know you can help them too. Now, to achieve all of this means that you have to ensure the marketing content you're creating is coming from a place of knowing those ideal clients inside and out and understanding exactly how they talk about and describe all of their problems and their feelings. If you can do this, then you're going to achieve the main goal of your marketing message, which is to ensure people understand these 5 things. And we've been talking about this in the last few episodes here. Your marketing message needs to make sure people understand who you are, who you help, what problem you help solve, what happens when people get your help, and then, of course, how they can contact you and get started. Now, number 3 in this list, identifying the problem you help solve, is often the hardest one to hit home with when it comes to marketing and delivering the message, because it requires that deep, deep understanding of your client's specific challenges and using the words that they use that they understand. And you can't just make these words up, and you can't just use the words you do when you talk about it. You have to go to the source here to get those words right and to get them as specific as possible. And that means finding out from the people who are your ideal clients how they describe the situation, how they talk about it, including things like the exact words they use to describe their problem, how their problem makes them feel in their own words, what the problem keeps them from doing, and how they talk about that. You need to know how they talk about the solution they're looking for and how they would describe you and your services. And this, sometimes people look at this and they think it's kind of an odd list, especially, well, how would they describe my services and me? But this is where you have to think about it. The words that your ideal clients or your actual clients say are going to be more important than your words if you want these messages to get across. People need to know that you get their problem as they feel it, as they describe it. Otherwise, they don't trust that you can solve the problem they're having. And this is why so many folks feel like people sometimes are just selling to them because they don't get the feeling that you truly understand what is wrong with them. One of my clients last year, this is what we focused on in her private coaching sessions with me. And once she got more specific in her messaging and her marketing content, she went from having anywhere to maybe, 8 to 10 consults a month. And that's where she was when we started in month 1. I think it was about 13 or 14 to be exact. And when we were done working together in month 6, she was getting about 44 consult requests every month. And she was, most importantly, I find in this whole situation, at that point, she was about 2 clients away from her goal of max client bookings per week. So she was then getting ready to decide, is she going to make a wait list or is she going to have to find another dietitian to work with her? And I mean, what a great dilemma to have, eh? Do you make a wait list or do you hire somebody? And this all came about because she got really specific in her marketing messages. We made sure that the content she had on her website, that the words she would say to people when she went out to events, that how she described what she did with people when she was introducing herself or just talking to others, or what was even on her social media content. It all was very specific about using the words that her ideal clients use. And what we changed it was taking away more of the words that she was using. And so the best example I can give you of how getting this specific can change your message so much is one that is typical of a lot of dietitian clients I work with. So I'm going to give you a whole example and we're going to go through 2 sample elevator pitches so that you can see what a difference being specific in your messaging can do to the message you're trying to get across. So looking at this typical dietitian I work with, they specialize in working with clients who are struggling with their weight and food. They often call themselves an intuitive eating specialist or a non-diet dietitian. But the way that they work with clients is by following these principles of intuitive eating to help the clients with their problems. Now, intuitive eating is a method that is the way they work with their clients to go through how they help them solve their problems with food and their body image. So they may have services and programs that they've named or use with the words intuitive eating in them to describe what their services and programs are about. And oftentimes when they come to work with me at the beginning, this is how they talk about their work from their clients. But from the back end, clients have not often heard that phrase, intuitive eating. They don't really know what it is. And in reality, the nutrition counseling services this type of dietitian offers, it focuses on working with clients to help them stop chronic dieting, overeating, binge eating. They help folks who feel lost when it comes to food because they can't control their willpower and cannot stop eating. And those are words that they say. I'm just going to add that to that. Their typical clients want to lose weight, but nothing's working for them. No matter what diet or system they see online or try that people say does work, it never works for them. So they're frustrated, they're angry that they can't fix this problem they have, which a lot of times is they want to lose weight and feel better in their body. They can't fix it the way everything and everybody else is talking about. So they continue to feel uncomfortable with their weight, with their body. Their self-esteem is low. They're not happy. They're absolutely frustrated with life and everything because food seems to have this power over them that they can't control. Now, when you think about these people with these types of problems, how do they describe the problem and their situation and their feelings? Well, the majority of those clients are going to use the words I just did. And that's why those words need to be in the marketing content and the messages. Yet often when clients come to work with me, especially many dietitians in this space, they are often using the words that they know and that they use to talk about their services as the main message. They'll say they're an intuitive eating dietitian, that they work with clients and help them through intuitive eating principles to feel better about their body and their weight. But people who don't know them have not often heard of those terms. They don't understand the phrases and the way that the dietitians are describing their services. So here's where I'm going to do a couple examples of elevator pitches with a person who isn't thinking about being specific with their marketing message and one who is. So my sample dietitian in this case for the first one will introduce herself like this if she was at an event and she was doing her elevator pitch. Hi there, I'm Jane Doe, and I work with clients in my Easy Principles of Intuitive Eating program to empower them to let their internal cues guide them to make the right choices to eat and live life on their terms. And if that was an elevator pitch at a networking event, outside of knowing her name, would you understand numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the goals of your marketing messages? And I'm going to reshape what those are again. So who you help, what problem you help people solve, what happens to people who get your help. And then number 5, I guess, we don't really have it here, but that's like how to reach out to you. So in this case, if we go back and analyze the elevator pitch and look at those goals of the marketing message, who you help. Well, in this intro, it was noted as clients. I work with clients. I'm not really sure what kind of people are her clients, but I know she works with people, I guess. What problem you help solve. So in this one, going back to, I work with clients in my Easy Principles of Intuitive Eating program to empower them to let their internal cues guide them to make the right choices to eat and live life on their terms. So internal cues stood out as maybe some sort of problem, but I don't really know what that means if I'm thinking about me as a person in the audience. Making the right choices to eat, I probably have an idea that it's something to do with food, but it's not quite clear what's going on here. And then number 4, what happens to people who get your help? Well, she talked about making the right choices and eat and live life on my terms. So again, I'm thinking about food. Maybe I'm going to be happier. But in that analysis, me as the person in an audience trying to understand the message, I still have a lot of questions and I would probably be asking questions. Now, asking questions is okay because it helps you have a deeper conversation with people, but not everybody's going to ask questions. So you really want the message to get across in the first place. So for me, I walk away typically having a lot of unanswered questions, which is typically going to bring about confusion and inaction. Now, another way for Jane to have introduced herself might be something like this. Now, I will tell you too, I left out like a name of a company, but I would typically want that. And I'm not putting in number 5 either, really. We're looking at numbers 2, 3, and 4 here. I'm not telling them how to reach out to me. So we're kind of getting in the middle part of one of these elevator pitches. So looking at a second way, let's try this. Hi, I'm Jane Doe, and I work with women who've tried every diet out there that there is and has failed. Food controls their lives, and they can't stop thinking things like, if I don't eat this now and I do the same thing tomorrow and every day for 4 weeks, maybe I'll be able to finally fit into those skinny jeans in my closet. These women have typically never been happy with their body or getting unhappier with it every day, and it's not how any woman should live. When they come to me, I show them how to build a nutrition plan supported by habits that help them finally stop all the diet thinking and negative thoughts about themselves. They have a path where they can finally be at peace with food in their bodies so they can enjoy life and feel good about themselves too. So again, these aren't perfect. I have made these up as I've planned out these episodes here. But this one to me has some more specific words that real people use to describe their problem. And if you look at the difference, do you have as many questions now that you might about what Jane does? From this intro, most people can identify that Jane helps women who can't stop dieting and they feel bad about themselves. And you probably got a visual of someone you might know always saying things like, oh, they can't eat that cookie you offered them now because they're trying to lose weight to get into some clothes. There's a lot more clarity and specificity in this example. And that's why getting specific with those words is so important, because now people hearing this message can visualize who you work with. And if it's not them, they might know somebody. I'll tell you right now, the first example, nothing was really clear to me. Did the person work with men or women? Not that you have to identify that, but if you do have a preference of the gender of client you work with, you want to be specific. The second one, she works with women who struggle with dieting. And I can tell you, as I heard that, I remembered some times where I was watching everything I ate to make sure I fit into the shorts for my vacation 3 weeks down the road or 3 months down the road. And I've heard my mom say things like that similar as well. I've heard lots of women say it. So I knew exactly what she meant by her message because it was so specific. And that's why getting specific in your messaging matters. It creates that instant understanding of who you help and how. So once you identify that you need to get more specific, and I do want you to go back and look at some of your content and think about it. Is it generic or is it specific? And how can you build some more specificity into the language and the words you use in your marketing? The best way I can tell you is you need to go out and find the words your ideal clients use, and find the specific words. And this is where some research is going to come into play. There's no magic button I can give you that will pull up all these magical specific words that your clients use. There are lots of ways to do some of this research. Some of it's simple, some of it's complicated. And of course, I like to try and keep things as simple as possible. So the best way I think that you can do this, finding the words that your ideal clients use, is to track and record the words. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.